Hey guys, it's ANicWin, also known as Amy, and happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a lovely day. This is a cozy 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom home in Windenburg, and it is built for a family of 4. So I'm imagining a couple lives here with their teenage son and their younger son, who is a child age sim. I decorated both of the bedrooms are pretty personalized and they're pretty bright. And the parents' room, I honestly can't recall off the top of my head. I don't know, it's pretty on brand for the rest of the house. It kind of matches the aesthetic, but the kids' rooms, I did not hold back. Which, I don't know, some people like to decorate the kids' rooms to match the entire aesthetic of the house, and I think that's beautiful, and I just can't do it. I try, and I'm just not good at matching every single room in a build. It's just not something that I do intuitively, and kudos to those people, but it ain't me. So we're doing the exterior here. As you can see, part of it is brick, part of it is that Tudor wall texture paint wallpaper. I don't really know what that's supposed to be, and I'm imagining that the part that's brick was an addition that was added later. The part that is not brick actually has it has all of the bedrooms and bathrooms in it, and the other half has the kitchen, living, and the dining area. So it's obviously been renovated a few times. This is not what the original structure looked like. I kind of like that. I like giving houses like a subtle history like that. And I don't know, that sparked joy for me. But we're placing all of the windows and everything. I do build the house and then move it. I built on the center of the lot and decided that rather than having a side and backyard, I wanted a large front yard and a side yard. So I do kind of shift it here in just a moment. And we add some fencing. I do use the rock fence that came with cottage living, and I don't connect it to the house. I have a really hard time connecting the rock wall style fence to the home because it's just not something that I think you would do. It doesn't look realistic to me, and I don't know if it's just me freaking out and being dramatic, but it looks weird. So I leave it open, so there's no gate or anything like that. Your Sims can walk through in multiple sections, because I don't believe I block it with landscaping either. We're gonna find out. I didn't watch the footage back before doing the voiceover, so a lot of things are going to be a surprise for everyone. You, me, everyone involved. But here we are kind of doing the little details. I'm adding the fence railing and stuff like that. I did build that little trellis. That's what I call it. It might be a pergola. I honestly don't know. I have no clue what it's called. But I did build that. We're going to cover that with some wisteria. I do add some foliage to the top just to make it look a little bit full. I like adding this because it adds shade, it adds a texture, and it looks cool. I don't know, they're one of my favorite things to build. They're pretty easy to do as well. So we're just kind of fleshing that out now. You did see me add the flower boxes, or the window boxes, whatever you call them, to the windows as well. I actually get rid of those just because it was looking a little too busy. So if that's something you really like and you want that detail and you download this house, you can add them back. I didn't alt place them or anything like that. I just snapped them right to the grid. And then here in just a moment, we're going to start working on the flower boxes and things like that. I also add, are these vines? I don't really know what this is considered in the game. It's foliage. It's greenery. I add this to the front and part of the sides of the house. I add the green and I layer it with the red, which is something I've never done before, but I've seen a few other builders. I've seen a few other builders do it, and I did originally build this in fall. I don't have a sim on the lot, so you don't see the fall trees and everything. The red reflected that. It looked a little bit better, but I didn't take the screenshots in fall just because the garden didn't look as vibrant and as full as I wanted it to. So I did leave them in spring, but just know, in my save, this was intended for fall. I am working on the garden beds now, so I do place the terrain paint down first, and then I go into the menu and I'm just pulling out different plants, and I grab a plant and I place most of how many of that plant that I want down around the different areas. So it looks I don't know. There's not a pattern to it, but it is the same, like, I think there's like 8 plants total, which sounds like a lot, but it's the same plants repeated. So I wanted it to be busy, but I didn't want it to be too busy. And I don't know if that makes sense at all. But that's just kind of the thought that was like going on in my head. So there's a lot of red, there's some pink, there's some white, a soft yellow. I use purple irises. I don't remember the names of any of the other plants, but I use quite a bit of a variety of different ones that are different heights, different textures. I wanted it to be a sensation, an experience. So I didn't want it to just be something pretty. And luckily plants are both. So I got my way. Now you'll notice, or you may not notice, and I'm just calling myself out, but in the screenshots, some of the plants are missing, or they might be resized. That was simply because when I moved back and I was taking screenshots and I was checking my sightline, everything was at the same height, and that felt a little too staged for me. So I did shrink some down. I got rid of a few. I moved a few things around. So it is a little bit different from what you see in the recording, but this is the first go. I always keep the first attempt, at least for landscaping, maybe not for the build, because I do build the structures a few times, but I keep the first attempt for landscaping typically on camera, just so you can see what the initial product was, and then you get the final product in the screenshots and in the gallery. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's just something I've done kind of unintentionally, and it's just continued on. So here we are. I did use quite a few rocks. It's like I rediscovered them and then I couldn't stop. But really they're just good filler, and I was trying to avoid using a ton of the bigger plants at this point because I was pretty much done with landscaping, and I didn't want to go back in and pull those out and do all of that. So I did use rock as filler. I did use the terrain manipulation tool to raise the flower beds and kind of round out the edges. It's a detail that's so small you wouldn't really even notice it in the game. I barely noticed it while building, but I decided to do that because the ground is so flat. It made me uncomfortable with all this, you know, these luscious flowers, the luscious flower beds, I guess I should say, and flat earth. I don't know, it felt weird. So I raised it up just a little bit just to make me feel more comfortable. If you don't like that, you can of course flatten the terrain right back down. It won't get rid of the landscaping or anything like that. I did just slap my chest a little bit, if you heard that. I talk with my hands. So you can easily fix that. I did fix like where I placed these garden beds here. It was clipping into the grass a little bit, as you saw where I had raised it. I lowered a little bit down beside it. It solved that. You really shouldn't have any issues unless you want to place things where I've raised the terrain. I also give them the flower arranging table. I gave them a monkey bar set and a grill out in the back here. I don't give them a table, and I don't believe I give any other activities either. I'm not imagining that they're like super outdoorsy people, and I wanted it to be a little bit realistic for outdoor activities. Like I don't think if you pass by like the, you know, a normal house, they're gonna have a ton of things to do outside. You'll have some stuff for the kids, you might have a garden, right? Like there's just not a whole lot, and I wanted it to be as realistic as I could make it in my eyes. So we're just going to add some of these final touches. As you can see, I didn't do a whole lot to the back or the right hand side of the yard. I wanted those to kind of look like they were starting to fade into the forest that's kind of surrounding it. And we're about to jump into the interior here in just a moment. This is the first of 2 bathrooms, and this is the one that the kids use, so you're gonna see a few childlike items. I placed this little cart here in between the toilet and the sink because there's not a ton of storage, and I'm imagining that you would want to add storage and it might have to be in creative ways. This looked a lot like those carts that you can get from Target or Walmart that are plastic that you just sort of pop the wheels into. And I don't know what they're called, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. And then we just add some wall decorations. There was some clutter, and it's really simple. It's not a crazily detailed bathroom. Then we jump over here into the second bedroom or bathroom, which is the master bath. So it uses some of the same fixtures. I was really trying to place this shelf underneath the window. It was something that I did in my last build. I like adding window or shelves beneath the windows to add storage. It's not going to work though. It's a small room. I had to get rid of it, which is fine. It wasn't something I was completely gutted about. And I'm just sort of decorating this bathroom as well. This is also not a super, super detailed bathroom, but they match. And I like them. They're cozy. They go with the theme. They fit the brand. And then we're just doing the little hallway here. I typically would cut hallways out. Decided not to in this case. And I gave them the family bulletin. I do a little growth chart on the wall because I think it's cute. And then in this corner, we're going to add a little, I don't even know what you would call that, like a linen closet, but it's not a closet, it's a cabinet. So I guess it's a linen cabinet. A little, oh wow, I forget words. Laundry basket? Hamper. That's what it is. A hamper, and then just some little storage things and like that above it. Now the rugs I am going to change the color of later, so don't get too attached to that. I just really didn't know what color scheme I was going for just yet. I'm sorry now if you can hear what's going on the street. It is garbage day, so the truck is like going up and down my street currently, and it's really, really loud. And I'm not sure if it's coming through, but I would not be surprised if my mic was picking it up. So, sorry. That's real life, I guess. But we jump into the entryway, which is also part of the hallway technically. I just add this little coat rack, the umbrella stand, of course, a chair. I accidentally used the painting that you just saw, not this one, the other one, twice, and I don't change it. So if that's something that bothers you, feel free. And then we jump into the first of the 3 bedrooms, and this is the child's room. And I use this window, but I wanted this window seat as well to go into it. So I used half walls to make the alcove. I just placed some decorations, a lamp, that stuffed giraffe behind the thing. And then I'm trying to add decorations to the window itself, and I could not. For the life of me, I could not make it work. So that dragon goes away, the boat gave me a headache from start to finish, and the books end up on the ledge. I keep trying. I don't give up on the boat and adding clutter to that window. We're going to come back to that in just a second. But I was trying to like maneuver things. It wasn't happening, so I gave up for a moment. And then I added this stuffed animal. I think it's a void critter. I added this to the window seat just to make it look a little bit more cozy. And then here I am pulling out a few more items to go in the window. I'm thinking, okay, maybe he stores his like toy cars. Like I'm thinking Tonka trucks and stuff like that in the window. And you could see the car, you could see the trolley. The boat kept disappearing, and I don't know how it was changing heights. And it was slowly but surely driving me insane. So I keep trying. I don't give up immediately because I'm like, we've made it this far. We've already recorded some of it. And then I just end up getting rid of the boat. And I keep everything else. Then I placed this little nightstand. I wanted to use yellow initially, but it just clashed a little bit too much with everything else. So I got rid of it. I added a couple of these school projects. I don't think he's into science or anything like that. I just think that those are probably really like Lego sets or something like that, and he's kept them because he thinks they're cool. That was kind of the mindset behind that. I do place a toy box, and then I add a dresser over here with this funky looking thought bubble mirror that is in bright green. I use green as an accent color. It looks a little odd with the oranges and the red tones, but I liked it enough that I kept it. I decided it was quirky enough for a kid's room and it would be okay. I add some clutter to the top of his dresser. You may notice in this build and the next one that I'm using items to kind of clutter up the top so I can alt place things without having to use the OMSP shelf and without having to pull things away. It's just laziness, but it also works. So if you want to build and clutter and you don't want to download the OMSP shelf, you have options. Just so you know. And then I add the finishing touches to his room. It's a little bit cluttered, a little bit cozy, and I loved it. We head over here into the teens room. And I wanted this to look a little bit sophisticated, but not fully adult. So I give him a bed from Tiny Living. I'm kind of using this yellow and that darker. To me, this is a green tone. It might be blue to you. It's kind of like a faded green. But I kind of use that as accent with navy as well. And I'm just sort of imagining this guy's personality. I don't have it solidified, so I can't really give you many details. But I think he's into music. I think he's into probably photography. He might be a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. Who knows? Not me. And I'm not here to judge. So you do you, boo. And I just sort of finished filling out his desk. Or his room. So I place a desk, and I do give him a laptop. I add a little bit of clutter to the desk, but not a ton. I give him a soccer ball. I do give him that little wall calendar because I think that's such a fun addition to a teen's room. I had one on my wall when I was in high school and college and honestly most of my work life, I'm going to be honest with you. And I gave the little locker. I know I've used the locker a little bit in the last few builds, but I've rediscovered it and I love it. So I'm going to keep using it until I'm sick of it. I'm going to be honest with you. I gave him the little alien thing because I'm kind of playing into that conspiracy theorist angle a little bit. And then I give him a dresser with a CD player. And that's pretty much it for his room. His room is small and simple, but I really enjoyed his room. Out of the 3 bedrooms, the teenager's room is my favorite. Then we head into the master. I decided to change the bed swatches, and I don't know why I didn't just use the recolor. I ended up deleting it and adding the same bed back with a different duvet, comforter, quilt. I'm not really sure what that is. And I place the dresser that we got with one of the updates, or maybe it was a birthday gift. I can't really remember. I do alt place a mirror on top of it because I didn't want to add a traditional wall mirror. I stuttered through that. I apologize. And then I place a smaller dresser for one of the other Sims. I think they probably use both. So maybe the small one's for like socks and things like that. And the big one is for stuff that needs to be hung. And I just place the finishing touches on their room. Like I said, it's really simple as well. It comes together pretty quickly, and that's about it. And then we head over to the kitchen. So I did use the Realm of Magic countertops, and to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever used them. Like I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've used these. If I'm lying, let me know, call me out, but I do not recall using them prior to this moment, and I was shocked by how much I like them. The kitchen is going to change shape a little bit, or it's already changed shape. I'm not paying attention. But it changed a little bit. This is kind of like, is it a galley style kitchen? Is that what it's called when it's just narrow like this? I should know. I should remember. I studied this, but I can't recall at this moment. And then I do use the base game industrial cabinet piece, the long one that kind of looks like a pantry installation. It was the only one that matched this style of counter enough. None of it matched perfectly, but they don't come with uppers. The Realm of Magic ones don't come with an upper cabinet, so I had to improvise. I add a shelf above the window. I realize in the screenshots it's a little too high, so I do lower it just a little bit. So it's a little bit more realistic, but not a ton, not enough that you would notice. So in the gallery, it is lowered just a smidge. And I add some clutter. I do place a fruit basket in the basket that came with Jungle Adventure, I think is what it came with. I just like the way that looked. I was going to place debug fruit and just sort of stack it, and I realized that worked because the shelf that I used was going to hide the fruit bowl sticking out of the bottom. It was just a happy accident, but I'm so glad it happened. And then that's it for the kitchen, and we head into the living room. I really like this living room. It is a little bit light. Like there's a lot of white, a lot of cream, and when I took pictures of it, it was kind of hard to really view it as cozy in my opinion. But I think that's the lighting glitch. I don't think that's like the wall or like the actual furnishings. It could also be my reshade. Who knows? It's probably a combination of all the things. I use this little hutch from, I think it's Get Famous. I just like the sort of mid-century modern design of it. I used it to place a TV on. You do have to use the OMSP shelf for that one. And I place this wall clock. I'm just adding a little bit of clutter up to the top. I do give them the knitting basket. I don't do the cross stitching, although you could add that certainly if you really want to. I do place some of these canvases to make them look like they're sort of leaning up at the top. It kind of looks like they're floating from this rendered version. I hope they're not. I'll check before I upload one more time just to be sure. And I place a rug, and then we're going to place a coffee table. I think I do the nested coffee tables. I love this style in real life, and if I could find coffee tables like that weren't like an outrageous price, I would use them in a heartbeat. And then we add a little poof. I'm thinking of this as a footstool. I think they'll sit on it. I did size it down one, so they might be floating or they might not be able to route to it. I didn't test it, but I'm thinking that's a footstool for the couch. It probably gets moved depending on where people are sitting. I create this little toy section for the kiddo, and then we're gonna move on into the dining room here in just a moment, and that's where I'm gonna leave you guys. So I hope you like this one. I know it was a little bit rambly, and I apologize. I know you could also probably hear the garbage truck going up and down the road as well. I apologize for that too. If you enjoyed it, just let me know. Feel free to leave a like or comment down below. You can also subscribe if that's something that would spark joy for you. You can also hop over to Instagram and check out the screenshots if you want a better look at those. I will see you on Saturday with my next video, and in the meantime, I hope you have a lovely day and a lovely rest of your week. Bye, guys.
Time is moving fast. I am moving slow. All the days that passed had nowhere to go. I watch them slip away as far as I can see. I let them roll astray. It did not bother me. The sun is shining through every window pane. It's bathing you in light, so why should I complain? If there should ever be a storm or a pouring rain, we'll look out through the window pane where the sun will shine again. Time is moving still, and you are here with me. A house upon the hill, and a little apple tree. The sun is shining